Hello everyone, how are you? This is Peter the Eminem. Today we're gonna play Standard in Mono Blue. Oh yes, we're gonna show the real power of Mono Blue, because Mono Blue has some strong shit going on. What are the strong cards in Mono Blue? Well, there are many of them. First you have the Ascendant Spirit, a 1-drop that can grow pretty strong every turn. So you can pay 2 for it to become a 2-3, then at instant speed. That's very important. Blue is very good at instant speed. Then you can, when it's a 2-3, you can pay 3. It's a snow mana, it has to be from snow mana. You can pay 3 for it to become a 4-4 flying spirit warrior angel. And once it's a 4-4, you can pay 4 to put 2+1/+1 counters on it, and an emblem that says whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. And those stack up. So this little dude can become pretty strong, and it can become a draw machine for you. Okay, so what else is very strong in blue? Well, there's Iymrith, Desert Doom. This legendary dragon is very strong. It's a 5/5. It bests the gold spend dragon. It has ward 4 as long as it's untapped, and it draws you cards when it attacks. So we have a bunch of strong creatures that draw you cards when they attack. Those are very good creatures. This is a rare card, this is a mythic rare card. And there's a good reason those are rare and mythic rare. What else is good? There's Alrund, God of the Cosmos. This is a mythic rare. I put 2 in the deck. So Alrund gets +1/+1 for each card you have in hand and each foretold card you own in exile. So whenever you foretell something, it goes into exile. So at the beginning of your end step, choose a card type. Then reveal the top 2 cards of your library. Put all cards of the chosen type, reveal this one into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So at the beginning of your end step, you get to name a card type. Usually I would go for instant, to have spells to cast. This is very important. So if the top 2 cards are instants, well, the instants that are on the top 2 cards of your library are put into your hand. The rest are put at the bottom of your library. So the more you name something, the more likely you are to draw it into your hand. Because those that do not have of the named type are put at the bottom of your library. So this is a very good card. Then we have Mordenkainen, another mythic rare. So this is a planeswalker who can create a dog illusion whose power and toughness are equal to twice the number of cards in your hand. So this does not account for the cards you have foretold. So if you have 5 cards in hand, it's a 10/10. So this is pretty strong. And he draws you 2 cards, then put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library. So you get to really have the cards you need in hand. And yeah, it's very good. And he has an ultimatum for -10 where you exchange your hand and library, then shuffle. You get an emblem with you have no maximum hand size. So say you have 5 cards in hand, then activate the ultimatum. Well, you will draw all the cards in your library and put the 5 cards you had in hand in your library. So there are 5 cards in your library. So you have basically 5 turns to kill your opponent from there. It's very nice. But I mean, 5 turns with the rest of your library, you should be able to do it. Just make sure you don't mill yourself when you do it. Then Alrund's Epiphany, another mythic rare cards. 2 exemplaries of this. So I think everyone is used to this card. It's pretty annoying when it gets cast against you. Well, this is the power of blue. So blue also has counter spells that can mess with your opponent. Jwari Disruption is very good for tempo at the beginning of the game. I put 4 copies of it in my deck. It also helps you get your land drops if you draw it late in the game. And it can help you win counterspell battles, even towards the end of the game. I mean, yeah. Then you have Side coming and you find the Villain's Lair. You find the Villain's Lair is, in my opinion, not good in dual decks, dual color decks, because it requires 2 blue to be cast, which is sometimes very hard, especially at the beginning of the game. Whereas side coming, you can foretell it, it only requires 1 blue, it's easier to fix your mana cost if you don't have the blue lands, but here it's mono blue, so we have the blue lands that we need. So we're going to be able to cast a few fine villains there for very well. I'm not a big fan of the second ability of this card, where you draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, because you're kind of losing 1 card by doing this. It would make more sense if it was draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. Because, yeah, say you have only this card in hand, play the Learn the Secrets, then you have no cards in hand, whatever you draw, because you play it, then you discard everything you have. It doesn't make sense to me, but losing card advantage like this. Anyways, unless you really need everything in your graveyard, but that's not what blue does. So I kind of not a big fan of this. Could be good with escape creatures, but none of them do. Anyways, so what else? We have bounce spells, divide by 0, which gives us access to a full sideboard of lands, more counters for our dragon, scry 2 and draw, exile, mascot exhibition, and sometimes this is not as bad as it seems. Exile your opponent draws a card, but first you can cast it on something you have that has been enchanted. It cannot do anything. But also you can cast, if you cast it on your opponent's stuff. Well, if you have counter spells, it doesn't matter if they have cards in hand if they can't cast it. So yeah, not as bad as it seems. Then blue has very good draw spells with Behold the Multiverse that can be cast very early when you foretell it. Graven Lore is amazing. You can scry for 5, then draw 3 cards. It's at instant speed. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. So there's this new land. It's a rare. So it becomes a 7/7 giant creature with Ward 3. The Ward 3 ability is good when you're defending to make sure that it does not get targeted by removal. It's not useful when you attack because it becomes tapped when you attack. You could put more copies of this in the deck because it's very good. At least 2 in my opinion. I only have 1, so I only put 1. If you have more, put more. But don't put too many because it does enter tapped when you draw it late in the game. Then we have Faceless Haven. So we have a bunch of snowlands. Faceless Haven is very good attack creature, especially in tempo battles against mirror matches. What else do we have? Yeah, and the Wizard class. It's one of the new cards. So you have no maximum hand size. You can pay 3 to draw 2 cards, preventing counter spells in mirror matches as well. And the 5 cost ability, whenever you draw a card, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. Yeah, kind of nice on Iymrith or the Ascendant Spirit. Or just on Alrund. I mean, there are only 8 creatures in the deck with the Ascendant Spirit and Iymrith. But there's also Alrund. He's also a creature god, so that's 10 creatures you have there. You can create a creature with Mordenkainen. You have birds. Birds. They can become pretty big. Yeah, I'm not kidding. The wizard class with the birds from Alrund's Epiphany can get out of control for your opponent. Yeah. So you could also put the counters on the Faceless Haven, on the Hellstorm Giant if it's animated when you draw cards. Anyways, can be pretty amazing. Yeah, there's stuff to do with this. So let's try it. Let's try mono blue and see how it does. Some of the tough matchups for mono blue would be decks that the mono white Magecraft deck. This is a very good hand because they get The Magecraft abilities still trigger even though the spell does not resolve. This is kinda annoying. A painter! This is very good tempo ability. I can counter spells if they do nothing, I can buff him up. Flame Skull, whenever he dies, exile it. If you do, forget this. I don't want to see this. I am mono blue. Do they have instant speed removal? Nope, they don't. They're pinned down. There's nothing they can do. What's their plan? Do I care? Do I care? Like, really? I don't think I do. Because I'm gonna be weak to removal. Nah. I don't care. They're low. Man, they're using all their mana. That's good. I hope they don't have removal. I'm surprised that they don't run any. I shouldn't have done what I did. Where's your removal? Maybe I should run a couple of copies of Negate. Okay, I'm good. Where's the removal? They're running Flame Skull, so they have spells. No, not necessarily. They're trying trying to think. There's no point boosting him more. Yeah. Yeah. So I think their deck was based around using treasure chests to cast bigger gold spend dragons, but not with mono blue. Yeah, it rocks. Yeah, my favorite colors are blue and black. I won't lie. Wicked Walker. That's good. I don't like going second, but it's an okay hand. Divide by Zero is awesome. The mirror control against mono blue. Are they thinking about removing it? It's okay. I had an epiphany. Alrund had an epiphany. So I have nothing to deal with lands if they attack me. So they have the Hall of Storm Giant and the Hive of the Eye Tyrant. They have 6, so they probably have counterspell. I must hold up. This will help me defend my Graven Lore. This too, but I need more lands. Alright. What you gonna do? Show me what you got. Wow. This is pretty intense. I'll let it resolve. So they're keeping mana. I hate them. Yeah. I can cast Alrund's Epiphany then. If they counter. Gotta be patient. Do they have a counter spell that they want to use? Yeah, that's what I thought. Maybe I should have used Divide by Zero to have my Thought coming available. Is it because this? You can hit me. Yeah, go ahead. See what happens next. See what happens next. All right. Let's finish them. Is it enough? Or should I go for this? Any way to turn? They have nothing foretold. Yeah. Wow, it resolves. Oh my god.
I'll learn much from your failure here today. Ah, my faithful hound.
Yeah. Unleash Blue's power. Okay. Maybe they thought they were going to hit Iymrith. Yeah. That was a mind battle. Sometimes you gotta take a hit before you can give a hit. Oh yeah. Okay, let's put Mono Blue to the test in the ranked format. That's gonna be the real test in Platinum. Man, those aggro decks are gonna be tough, and those lands. They were not running any counter spells, which is weird for black-blue player control. Eugene. Professor. You can exile it. Man, smashing mono white with the Ascendant Spirit. What are they gonna do? Spend their turn giving me a creature? Oh, it's not mono white, it's cleric. What is this? Red, black, white? Learn? They did not fetch a land, they panicked and decided to give me a 3-2, which is very strong early on in the game. That was a bad decision. Man, that's a really bad decision. Let's play it slow. What do I do? Do I power him up? If I do this, they're gonna spend their turn. Yeah. Okay, what else? Blue is very good at tempo. Oh yeah. I mean, I can even smash in with my land. I have a Faceless Haven. Cool! Yeah, that's the power of Mono Blue. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's just look at the cards one last time. Suppose you want to make your own mono blue deck, but you don't have all the cards right here, because I know that most people play on a budget, like me. Sometimes I buy the $20 package, but that's it. I mean, it doesn't get you very far, but it's fun just having options. But yeah, usually what I do is this. You check which rare and mythic rares you have, and also those you have in multiple copies. So that can help you decide what you could put in your decks, because rares and mythic rares are the good cards. So in mono blue, what you could use is there's not much remaining. Well, in my deck, yeah, but easy good for a mono blue deck. At the beginning of your key, you make Zal Casimo if you gain. I wouldn't put Casima. It's not good for tempo. You need tempo. Otherwise, anything with flash. Well, let's look at the rest. This could be good. The Dragon Turtle in mono blue, especially against creature decks, or to prevent a land from attacking you, for instance. Grizzlax is cool. He's another. He is very cool. You could use him in mono blue. He draws you cards like the Ascendant Spirit and Iymrith. If your creatures are blocked, you can return them to your hand so you don't get surprised by something. But it's mostly because he draws you cards. He is good with the previous adventure cards, in my opinion, because those are cards you want to return to your hand. You could build a deck around him with but the adventure cards are no longer available in a standard 2022. But you could do something with creatures that have an enter the battlefield trigger. Yeah, like the Aberrant Mind Sorcerer. There is something to do with those. Then, am I a big fan of this? I mean, how many spells are you gonna cast per turn when you're playing tempo? Not a lot. This is not for a tempo deck. I don't know what to do with the Demolich, but Cyclone Summoner is good against creature decks, but I don't know how it would do in this deck. I don't think it would do very well. The Wizard Spellbook, meh. It would be good for the draw cards like Graven Lore and oh, can it be done at instant speed? Yeah. Oh no, you only activate this as a sorcery. Yeah, it's not that good. It's good for. It's not good for counter spells. It's good for the draw cards like Behold the Multiverse and Graven Lore. What else? Yeah, or Divide by Zero. That you can use it to bounce stuff, but otherwise, it's not great for this deck particularly. Will Scholar of Frost. You could try running him to reduce the cost of your instants and sorceries, but I'm not a big fan because he is expensive and he's not very tempo. This deck is meant to be tempo. It's what blue is about. Mono blue is about, in my opinion. So yeah, And is there something that I haven't collected that is rare and mythic rare? Just look at the not collected. Oh, there's tons of stuff. Okay. Ooh. There's a planeswalker you could use. Multiple choice. It's a sorcery. This is kind of good. My only dilemma is that it's a sorcery. It's not at instant speed. I mean, if you look at how the deck is built, it's 20 instants. And by the way, those are cards that you can name it Alrund. I like, if Alrund is there, I like having many cards of the same type. But if you don't have Alrund, you don't have to do this. Jace is a cool planeswalker, but there's another one. It seems like it's not a rare. Planeswalkers in Moon. Maybe it's no longer there. Oh, okay. You could run Jace, Mirror Mage, but I mean, he's not bad. He scries, he draws you cards. He keeps your opponents busy, but mostly what could be missing in this deck is things to deal with the board. Like, there's nothing to destroy. Exile target in blue. This is at sorcery speed. I mean, you would want something to deal with lands. Resculpt could do it, but it creates a 4/4. Not a big fan. Basically, the best way to deal with lands is to have something on the board yourself when you're mono blue. What has flash? Do I have some? So, the Dragon Turtle, as I said. I'm not a big fan of the Cosmos Charger because it's only a 3/3 that costs 4. When Tyrant Sculptor enters battlefield, exile an instant or sorcery from your graveyard, put a number of +1/+1 counters equal to half that card's mana value. So, if you cast Alrund's Epiphany, which costs 7, rounded up, so you would put 4 +1/+1 counters on it. It would be a 6/6 4/4. It's not that good, but it has Ward 2. I mean, I prefer... it's not completely bad as well, but I mean, you need... I don't like it. So, what else is there in mono blue? You could use this for lands. I mean, they spend their mana attacking you with a land, then you tap it. It doesn't untap, so it cannot attack you the next turn, and you draw a card. So you're not losing a spell. It's not bad, but it's still 3 mana. But it's not bad. This is kinda good in my opinion. Kinda good. Glacial Grasp. This is Flash. This is good. This is very good. I would put 4 copies of this. You could put 4 copies of this. It has flash, it enchants a creature, so it can be a land. Okay? And then if that creature is red, you tap it, so it cannot attack you. But if it's not red, once they're tapped, they only get to hit you once. Then, and if it's red, it loses all abilities. But let's assume it's not red. So once it's tapped, you cast it, and it will never ever untap. So they lose mana for a land, and they cannot attack you with that land ever again, unless they destroy the enchantment. So it's really good. It's really good. Yeah, I really like it. I would put 4 copies of Ray of Frost to replace something you don't have in the deck. This is what I would go for. Definitely. Also, there are alternative counter spells you can use. So negate is not bad, but it's kind of useless against creature decks, but it will be very useful against the mirror matches in to fight counter spells or to fight Alrund's Epiphany. But it's not always good. Disdainful Stroke is kind of good. Most people will run something with mana value 4 or greater, but it will not help you against aggro decks. This will not help you. If you have this in your starting hand and you're playing against an aggro deck, it will not help you. So I'm not a big fan of Disdainful Stroke. We're not a mill deck, so this is not perfect. Yeah. Test of Talents, I would not put multiple copies of this in a deck, maybe only one, but it's, again, if you're playing against a creature deck, this is useless. And lots of people run creature decks, actually. So, it's not only creature decks, but I mean, you need to take into account that this can be a reality. And Blue's weakness is strong creature decks. That have a board presence quickly and lands that attack you. That you cannot counter a land being cast. So yeah, I think if you need to add something in the deck, it's Ray of Frost. It's an uncommon. You can get it for on a budget. So you have Ray of Frost and Dragon Turtle. Both are really good and tempo spells. Yeah. Yeah, Rare Frost and Dragon Turtle. I really love those two. So as you can see, I don't have multiple copies of them, but if you do, use them. Alright, that was the deck. I hope you liked it. Let me know what you think of it, if you try it, and if you adapt it, what you changed. And by the way, if you try my decks, and you feel like recording your own videos and sharing them with me, I will be happy to watch them. That would really make me happy. So yeah, that's it. Alright, I hope you have a good time. Bye!